Welcome to New Hampshire's Business. I'm Fred Coker. New Hampshire's fish and wildlife populations, so important to the environment and the economy of New Hampshire, were in steady decline in the 1900s. But what's being called a remarkable restoration of New Hampshire's fish and wildlife population has taken place since. Now is being undermined by a warming climate that's having an impact at ground level. Eric Orff is the author of this very recent book, What's Wild?, a certified wildlife biologist who writes about wildlife in our state as only someone like Eric could write after 31 years at the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department, living, so to speak, with the Fish and Wildlife of New Hampshire, and now 15 years with the National Wildlife Federation. You may have seen his postings on Facebook and YouTube that start with him saying,
"What's wild in New Hampshire?"
Right, and this is Eric Orff right here. Welcome, Eric. Nice to have you.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you. First, I got to clear up one wildlife fact, and that's mountain lions. I'm told there are mountain lions in New Hampshire. Fact or fiction?
That would be fiction. You know, Fred, when I started at Fish and Game, my boss actually handed me the mountain lion file that went back into the 40s. So there have been records of mountain lion sightings. In fact, as an administrator, I kept collections, and some years I'd have 100 sightings, but we've never had any evidence that you could take to court, DNA or scat. So, could they be here? Nothing's impossible.
Okay. Now, you've been a significant part of the restoration of wildlife in New Hampshire. Let's put up that slide. Restoration took place 1950s to early 2000s, increased populations of bear, moose, deer, beavers, turkeys, river herring, salmon, and shad. What caused that decline in the first place, and what was the restoration all about? How did that happen?
Well, of course, our forefathers, there were no regulations, so they killed and ate most everything and cleared the forest. By the mid-1800s or the early 1800s, our forests were gone. There was 1 million sheep in New Hampshire. Habitat was gone, and the animals were simply removed on day-to-day life. They killed and ate everything. It wasn't until the early 1900s where regulations came into effect and the ability to enforce those regulations. But the last half century that I've been involved have been dramatic increases in fish and wildlife across New Hampshire. We are really living in the golden age of wildlife. There's more moose, deer, bear, turkeys, bald eagles, peregrine falcons than ever before.
But global warming, and you've written about it. You say it threatens New Hampshire hunting and fishing, shorter winters, when you have a graphic for that, shorter winters and more extreme weather, ticks and pests causing diseases in deer, moose, and more, warmer waters causing declines in fish populations. What about the warming climate on fish and wildlife? What are you seeing in the forests and in the waters?
Well, most dramatic, of course, and most invisible now is our declining moose numbers. You know, we had upwards of 10,000 moose in the late 90s, certainly over 7,000. We're down to about 3,000. It's the truncated winter. No snow in November when the ticks are getting on, and no snow in April when the mothers are laying their eggs. So our truncated winters have meant the shrinking of our moose population. This has impacted other things in the Gulf of Maine. The northern shrimp, a $10 million industry, gone. For a decade now, a couple of summers ago we had the drought that caused a lot of bears to starve to death.
And lobsters?
Yeah, there's some impacts. Recent research, I've been talking to the marine biologists who I used to work with out of the Region 3 office in Durham. Yeah, they're concerned about a warming Gulf on the impact of what it might be having on juvenile lobster.
Well, there's a long list, as you know, having worked at Fish and Game, a long list of wildlife species that they say are of special concern. And let's put those up on the screen. Eastern wolf, New England cottontail, yellow bumblebee, monarch butterfly, bank swallow, salt marsh sparrow, bald eagle, wood turtle, and light whitefish. And that's just a few of a long list. And then New Hampshire Audubon says the population of 80 species of birds are diminishing in New Hampshire. You're an advisor at Audubon. Real quick, when we got a few minutes left, tell us what's going on.
Well, of course, for the birds, they're impacted globally. So some of the issues are here in New Hampshire, which are being addressed by the Wildlife Action Plan. So there's actually plans that you study, determine where the problem is, and try to address it. So there are action plans to try to address it at the state level. But of course, some of the birds fly internationally, and there could be problems elsewhere.
Eric Orff, certified wildlife biologist in New Hampshire for his entire life.
I have.
Thank you, Eric. Nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
And if you missed part of this interesting wildlife briefing, you can go to WMUR.com, where it will be posted all this week.